Oh, it's that frog. Oh, I hit a frog a while ago and it was still in there. Oh, disgusting. Hello viewers and welcome back to another episode of my Alfa Romeo. This is we're calling it the best daily driver in the world. It's definitely the best daily driver I've ever owned. This is a fantastic car. I bought it in 2018, so I'm coming up on 2 years of ownership on the car now. It is an amazing daily driver. It just does everything right. The handling is superb, the transmission is brilliant, it works well in traffic since it's not a stick shift. It is a little easier to drive in traffic, but also when you get it out on the road with the paddles and you really want to have some fun, you can. Adding race mode made a huge difference. Being able to turn ESC off so you can slide around a little is a lot of fun. I've also upgraded the exhaust on this car. It's pretty much a Remus straight pipe. They call it the race exhaust. It's loud, but not terribly loud. Actually, it doesn't drone at all, in my opinion, in the cabin. I've had some loud cars in my day. This doesn't come anywhere near. But at full chat, it sounds absolutely fantastic. So today we're going to do an oil change on the car. I normally wouldn't do an oil change video, but it is a little unique on the car. You need some special tools. You also need some special hardware as far as computer software, or hardware and software as far as computer stuff is concerned, to reset the oil light. There actually is no way to reset the oil light without software. So we'll get into that a little bit later on in the video. All right, so here's what you're going to need for this project. You're going to need obviously oil, an oil filter. I prefer Mopar or OEM brand filters. You're going to need a 13mm wrench, a T30 Torx head to get the bolts off that hold on the under tray. A pair of gloves is always useful. You're going to need your OBD2 kit, which has your different color-coded jumper wires, as well as your main USB wire, and a laptop capable of running multi-ECU software. I've also thrown in a K&N air filter since it's just time to change mine out, so we'll go ahead and get that done as well today. All right, so the first step in doing a proper oil change on this car is to get this under tray removed. It allows you access to the oil filter as well as the drain plug for the pan. I've seen horror stories online of people taking these to quick oil change places, and this process takes a while. An oil change on this car is not fast. This is one of the key reasons why. And they'll actually just grab a knife and cut a big hole in your under tray. Not good for a number of reasons, sound quality or sound deadening. Inside the cabin is kind of the big reason they do a lot of these under tray smoothness for road noise. But yeah, so first step is to get this pulled off so that we can gain access to everything we need underneath. And there is a trick to this. I'll go ahead and try to roll a shot of it. These Torx head bolts that hold the under tray in place are actually not all the same. There are quite a few of them. I think there's 23. I might have to count here in a second, but they are a little bit different. You can see the bolt has a bit of a shoulder to it. I'll get a better shot of it here to roll over top of this while I'm working. But that bolt shoulder is different depending on where the bolts come out of on the under tray. So the first time you do this, you definitely want to either pay attention to where each one came out, mark each one, or after you've done it a few times, you just kind of figure out where they go. There's a logical reasoning behind what they've done, and it's to keep the under tray tight so that it doesn't buzz and vibrate and hum. All right, so once you've removed the under tray, you've got access to the filter and the drain plug. They're pretty co-located and easy to get to. So yeah, next step is just get those kind of undone and draining. some of the other interesting stuff while you're under the car that you can see, these cars don't actually have a dipstick, so the oil level is only given to you from the entertainment console or the infotainment console inside the car. So this is actually the digital oil level indicator, for lack of a better term. I've not had it go bad on me. I've got 35,000 miles on it. It's always been very accurate. I think there is a problem with misconception about how to use it. The oil has to be up to temperature and has to be idling at up to temperature for 10 minutes to get an updated reading. So what I'll typically do is carefully measure the amount of oil I put into the car versus what it needs, and then go out and drive it. And as long as you're within a half a quart, there's no damage that's going to be done to the car. And after you get it driven, get it up to temperature, just park it, let it sit outside of the shop, put it in park, and usually that's when I just go around and clean all the windows and do all the other little exterior service stuff that I do with my car when I do an oil change, check tire pressures, that kind of stuff. By the time you get back around on the inside, you're gonna have an updated oil level indication, and then you can add oil as needed to there. Just be careful not to overfill, as it's obviously difficult to take oil out once you've put it in. You'd have to basically redrain the whole system. So, all right, with your oil draining, it's a good time to go ahead and get that 13 mil wrench onto the drain pole, get it loosened. These are actually pretty easy. These are actually pretty easy to loosen. They're not on there with that much force. I forget the torque value. I'd have to look that up in the manual, but it's a pretty low torque value. They are O-ring sealed, so they don't really leak. Very clever design by the Italians versus the crush washer that a lot of the Japanese cars use. All right, so that pretty much wraps it up under the car. We've got our new filter on. We've got our oil drain plug put back in, torqued to spec. And we've kind of just done a visual inspection of everything else that's under here. So now it's time to put the under tray back on, get the car on the ground, and add the new oil back in. All right, it's time to go ahead and reset the oil light. This is different from most cars where we have to use a laptop and some software to do so, and there's really no way to do it that I know of from inside the car. There's a possibility that there's some kind of pedal dance. I tried it when I first got the car for the first oil change and could not figure out how to do it. So I went ahead and bought multi-ECU scan. This is not a paid advertisement for them or anything like that. I paid full price for the software. And it came with these OBD cables that are actually very nice. I'm very impressed by these. So you've got all your different color-coded cables, and the software will tell you which color you need to use to jumper. They're basically just jumper cables, or not jumper cables like jumper for the car, but jumper in the old school computer terminology where it's jumping pins on the cable. So it'll pretty much let you know which one you need. And it also comes with a nice VAGCars OBD2 thing for VAGCOM, or if you have a Volkswagen. So it kind of comes with just a little bit of everything for servicing most cars. And of course it comes with instruction set and most importantly a software license, so you can use this as a licensed piece of software. So first step with this is to plug it into the OBD2 port down here by your left foot, and plug the USB into the computer and fire up the software. Now, the software install and setup, they've got some great videos online from themselves on how to do this, as well as some really good instructions, so I'm not going to get into it today because it would just simply take too long. But once you fire up multi-ECU scan, you've got to power on the vehicle but not start the car. And what that allows you to do is go ahead and go into these modules and reset and talk to different ECU components within the vehicle. So I'm going to try a screen grab software here so I can kind of put it down in the corner while I'm working. We'll see if I can make it work. Not the most technologically savvy guy, but basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking to the Alfa Romeo Giulia 2-liter turbo 16-valve multi-air, and then we need to figure out which system we want to talk to, and then we're going to connect to that system. I believe it is under service and service interval reset. So the software actually gives you this awesome option to simulate, as well as do, of course, scan and then connect directly to the software. So what I'll probably show you guys is a screen grab of me simulating this, but I'll talk you through it of me doing it in the actual software. I'm just a little worried that the screen grab software might cause some weird interference, and I don't want to basically brick the ECU in the car. So I'm just going to go through it this way, and then I'll screen grab a simulation so you guys can kind of see and follow along. It's pretty intuitive software though. Okay, so now that we're logged into the software, we're going to actually go to make adjustments, and it allows you to write the date of the last service interval, allows you to set the service interval coupon interval to distance, set the number of coupons. So what we're going to do is called the next service, it's kilometers, but it will be miles reset. So we're going to execute that. Alright, it says it's completed, so now what I do is just disconnect. We will power the vehicle down. And just completely disconnect from the vehicle in general. And then we'll go ahead and power it up. Alright guys, that pretty much wraps up the oil change on this car. One of the other things we're going to do I'm going to address today, the air filter, the factory air filter has been in here since I bought it. K&N finally released a washable air filter. Thanks guys, that's primo. So I'm going to go ahead and get into this and take the air filter off and just do a quick air filter change while I'm in here. Also going to change the cabin air filter because it's been about 2 years and I haven't done that yet. We'll see if it ends up being something that's a little complicated. I'll go ahead and film it, put it at the end of the video. But yeah, so that pretty much wraps it up for today. We'll end with just changing out this air filter. But thanks for watching to the end. I really appreciate it. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel for more videos on my Alfa and the next big build that's sitting right over there. You can't see it, it's off camera, but that next big build is coming up. It's got Nissan SR20 written all over it. So I'm very, very excited for the next build. So yeah, stay tuned for more content. Hit the bell, like, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Thanks.